think everybody's kind of interested, right? Because this whole world of like fake news and all this stuff, and they want to know like how this thing freaking happened. To them,
and the fake news, in some ways, is fueled by some of the darker webs of programmatic, where the reason why you start a fake news website, for the most part in Mongolia or Moldova, wherever you're doing in Greece, is because some advertiser is probably going to pay for that real estate. It might be USA News Awesome.com. I don't know if it's a real website. It's just a hypothetical, right? Right. And you're going to have some inflammatory comment, some content that's going to be there, and someone may go there for real, or maybe a bot might just go there. When that web page is loading, that website is then sending a signal or an auction request to another party to say, hey, someone's about to bid on my site. What ads can you show me? That party, which we call a supply side platform. Sorry, I'm going to try to avoid using acronyms. They essentially represent the interests of the publisher or the website. Will then go to different technologies that they call demand or money or demand side platforms. They're the ones that have the money inside it, and then they respond back with an ad that they think is worthwhile. And so everyone has an incentive for this ecosystem.
And they're all different companies that are
and all this happens within 1/10 of a second, microseconds.
Okay.
And so it's very fast.
Can you walk us through with an example of that? Actually, be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. It's literally every time you go to a website, there's a reason why you're seeing that shoe ad versus your wife might see a dress ad.
Right.
Because you have shown some sort of signal to an advertiser or to while you're browsing that you are a shoe enthusiast, versus your wife is, not to be sexist, maybe looking for a dress on Zalora.
Yeah.
And that's where you become very valuable. And so an actual auction takes place within that 1/10 of a second.
Right. But that's like just like, one website there you're going, right? And then you can't just classify this person as just, he likes, this person likes dresses or shoes, right? I mean, you must have more data than that to classify this person as a shoe lover or, like a whatever.
And that's when that raises the question of how good the data is, right? So when an advertiser is using it, that's on them to say this is the quality data source or not.
Yeah.
You could have been looking for a house 3 months ago. You bought your house last week. You're no longer relevant for them.
Yeah.
But they might be getting a data from a data broker saying you're looking for a new house or a car or travel. Travel is the hardest one because everyone technically likes to travel, right? So we're always looking at tickets. But there are specialty companies that do nothing but work with hotels and airlines to say this is a travel enthusiast for a certain destination. Make sure you show them your hotel for Bali because they just booked for Bali yesterday or 2 hours ago. So it's really about capturing that relevancy.
Right.
And then knowing who you are when you're on your computer or when you're on your mobile phone and trying to say you're the same person.
Right.
And now it's really about you've done something on your computer, you've gone to a store and you have your mobile phone, so we might know that.
Right.
And then when you turn on your TV, you're still the same person.
Yeah.
How do we make sure we show you that same messaging?
Yeah.
Or upsell you?
How do they know that?
Yeah. So the original parameters are a thing called cookies. They sound harmless, and they were designed to do something else. They were designed to make your web experience easier, so you don't have to keep logging in every time.
Right.
But they also then start being tied to behaviors that you're doing. So you search certain terms, you get this cookie on you. You went to this section of the site, you get this different cookie. You haven't been back, that's a different cookie.
Yeah.
You put something in your shopping cart, you forgot to buy. You're now a shopping cart abandoner. Let us find you before you forget. And this is why our web experience is really based off that profiling that you're doing. Cookies don't really work in your mobile phone environment. So in Asia, you have to target very differently.
Right.
Because most people don't have computers, and they'll never have computers.
Right. And this data is like this cookie is stored on your own hard drive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not on the web or anything.
No, it's not shared with a
So
third
all these
party.
companies are like accessing my hard drive for this data.
The mechanics, I don't remember how it actually works, but it's essentially as anonymized. So it's not, your name is not there, your address is not there.
Yeah.
It's just a very basic like went to this section of the site.
Right.
It's up to the companies then to figure out what to do with that signal.
Right.
Right. They can say, oh, you've been to 50 sports sites. You're a real sports enthusiast.
Yeah.
Versus me who might just read one section.
Right.
So that's the beauty is what you make out of the data.
Right.
Out of that noise.
But still, it's mind-boggling to like know that some program is accessing my hardware and then accessing that cookie and then using that data for whatever purpose that they want, right? I mean, the thing is, hardware is mine, right? I mean,
Your computer is yours,
Yeah,
but
the computer's mine.
and that's why the change in the policies around the world have been more about when you go to a website, you now see notifications saying we collect cookies for marketing.
I get that all the time. Yeah.
But that wasn't the case 5 years ago, and it's that raising that concern of who has access to it, what are they doing with it, how long are they storing with it, are there governance around it. You have things and like things like GDPR and other initiatives in the U.S. all about trying to educate everyone.
Right.
Oftentimes when governments regulate this, so they it's very complex.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as saying someone's hacking my computer and getting. That's not really what's happening.
Right.
But it can be construed that way. It's really this is what keeps websites in business to be able to sell targeted ads.
Right.
It's what keeps journalism in print because if they're not able to mine this or at least sell this, they can't afford to pay their journalists.
Right.
And journalism is very much a dying industry, right?
Right.
So there's a value exchange that people need to really understand.
Right.
But it can sound very Big Brotherish. I can understand your point of view.
But so okay. So you kind of lined out all the players in the industry, right? So you have the people who run the websites.
Yep.
And then you have these, you said, supply platforms.
Yeah. So essentially, it's 4 players. I would say one is I always say follow the money. So you have an advertiser.
Right.
An advertiser has budgets. They want to spend money to get more sales, move a product, launch, have a messaging, something along those lines. They employ an agency to trust them with their money. They're an agent of the advertiser, right? That's like a steward of some sort. They trust the agency to come up with the slogans and the messaging and the positioning and and to then go and buy media that reflects the advertiser's value.
Those players were around before the whole,
and they were buying media, but they were buying media kind of blindly.
Right.
They were literally over martini lunches and things like it was very like Mad Men. Things just kind of happened and you didn't ask questions. This is the change is really more about using data and signals in a more appropriate way. So it's somewhat a more level of accountability.
Right.
Then you have the middle companies that are collecting the data, whether it's and then so the technologies that are used, one is on the demand side, which is called a DSP, which just means a buyer, or a broker or some sort that's deciding on which websites to buy, and then the sell side, which tries to make more money.
Right.
And all those transactions happen within milliseconds.
Right.
And we're talking, I don't know, in the U.S., $150 billion, $170 billion a year going through this stuff.
Wow.
Asia, I don't know, less than 10 billion or so, maybe a little bit more, depending on the country.
Huh. Wow.
Not talking about China. China, it's its own thing.
Yeah. So the advertiser, obviously, their business is, you said, come with the slogans, make these catchy, videos and stuff, and then they kind of outsource.
Yeah. And they're partners, so that's why you're an agent.
Yeah.
And the CMO's job is to pick the best agency and make sure you have the best rates and things like that, and then you trust the agency to do what they're good at, which is negotiating and buying on your behalf.
Yeah.
And then they use various different technologies to do so.
Right.
Which is where it gets very complex.
Right.
Because different technologies buy into different technologies, and if you try to track the money, essentially for every dollar that an advertiser puts in, right, that they give to their agency to spend, right, maybe 20 cents of that actually goes to the website. So you have a huge dilution, which is unattended. That's not how a good ecosystem should be working. At this point, there's still a little bit too many middleware companies taking percentage of 5 cents here, 10 cents there, but it adds up very fast.
Right. And then all these platforms, I guess, or
platforms is the right way to do it.
Are saying that their technology is better than the others. And how do you actually know that? I mean,
you don't. It's a lot of they themselves are marketers.
Right.
They do marketing. They raise money. Some of them go public.
Right.
Some of them go out of business when they go public.
Right.
There was a company in the U.S. It was evaluated at $2 billion. It's a company called Rocket Fuel. Right. Their value prop to the marketplace. We are the smartest people with your money.
Right.
We developed the best algorithms. You give us your money. We will run the media on your behalf, and we'll get you the best results. I'm simplifying, excuse me, but and they went public, and then when they went public, they exposed that they were making 50 to 60% margin of the dollars they were getting. So the minute an advertiser realizes that, they're like, well, we could do this ourselves, or I want 10% of that margin, or something like that.
Of course.
And they eventually their stock cratered after a long period of time. They pivoted a few times. They were sold for $100 or $200 million.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So some people made money, but also it's hard to know. It's the times have gone a lot rough.
Right.
In this industry.
So it's better to remain private then, basically.
Some would say, yeah. There's not that many successful ad tech startups.
Right.
One that's done quite well is a company called Trade Desk. Literally called the Trade Desk.
Right.
TTD is the stock symbol. They have done very, very well. But even the past three weeks, their stock has dropped significantly. I'm very bullish. I think it'll jump right back up. It's fine.
Yeah.
But they're part of the few that have been very successful.
Yeah. And what kind of profit margins are they making right now?
I think it's still 30 to 40%, if I remember.
Pretty good. Yeah.
They're
Wow.
good. Because they do one thing, they do it really well.
Right.
And their solution, not to speak for them too much, is they empower agencies to do their job really well. And that's it.
Right.
They don't do anything else.
I see.
Future Design Podcast.